Level up, level up, never lose, should've had better luck. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Level up, tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Never lose, should've had better luck. I'ma wake 'em up from a slumber. Money ain't nothing but a thing, and the level ain't nothing but a number. Life ain't nothing but a game. Level up, never lose, should've had better luck. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Ball. Waking up meant that he gave me a chance and I'm rolling the dice. I do it all, living like I'm trying to go for the platinum trophy in life. Who can you call? Really nobody, so you should just follow me on your device. And know if she chilling with me, then it's bound to be chemical X and the sugar and spice. Game in the system, but game is the hobby. I'm probably cocky, but hot as wasabi. I mean, if it's beef, then you know where to find me. My niggas is ready and so is my body. You should be running and telling your posse and what's in the speakers and what's in your potty. And she trying to kick it, but this ain't karate. Just keep that shit down while I'm watching Tsunami. I ain't saying I'm a super nerd, but I told you when we got involved, my idea of a perfect date is a PlayStation and some alcohol. I was role playing on GTA. I'm a good guy, but I got it all. If the world should end, be the first to leave, but the last of us acting naughty, dog. Level up, never lose, should've had better luck. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, level up. You know, it ain't nothing but a number. Life ain't nothing but a game. Level up, never lose, should've had better luck. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Level up, never lose, should've had better luck. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Level up, tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Never lose, should've had better luck. I'ma wake 'em up from a slumber. Money ain't nothing but a thing, and the level ain't nothing but a number. Life ain't nothing but a game. Level up, never lose, should've had better luck. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Ball. Waking up meant that he gave me a chance and I'm rolling the dice. I do it all, living like I'm trying to go for the platinum trophy in life. Who can you call? Really nobody, so you should just follow me on your device. And know if she chilling with me, then it's bound to be chemical X and the sugar and spice. Game in the system, but game is the hobby. I'm probably cocky, but hot as wasabi. I mean, if it's beef, then you know where to find me. My niggas is ready and so is my body. You should be running and telling your posse and what's in the speakers and what's in your potty. And she trying to kick it, but this ain't karate. Just keep that shit down while I'm watching Tsunami. I ain't saying I'm a super nerd, but I told you when we got involved, my idea of a perfect date is a PlayStation and some alcohol. I was role playing on GTA. I'm a good guy, but I got it all. If the world should end, be the first to leave, but the last of us acting naughty, dog. Level up, never lose, should've had better luck. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Level up, tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Never lose, should've had better luck. I'ma wake 'em up from a slumber. Money ain't nothing but a thing, and the level ain't nothing but a number. Life ain't nothing but a game. Level up, never lose, should've had better luck. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Level up, never lose, should've had better luck. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Level up, tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Never lose, should've had better luck. I'ma wake 'em up from a slumber. Money ain't nothing but a thing, and the level ain't nothing but a number. Life ain't nothing but a game. Level up, never lose, should've had better luck. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough.
Oh wow. Mama Hugger is definitely in full effect tonight, and I completely forgot that I'm no longer running the show. With that, what's going on, people? Fame Entertainment here from level1gaming.com. And congratulations, you guys are leveled up to 170. This is the Double XP podcast. Great to have you guys with us once again. We got lots of topics to go over. As of course, you know, we will hold you guys hostage for an hour and 15 minutes, and then we'll get you back to your families. As always, the introductions come first. Let's start with that man with the clamps. Citizen Snips. And he's
Everyone
not
in the Discord call thought I was about to remain muted. But no, I remembered this time. What's going on, everybody? Glad to have y'all here. Thankful to have our guest Ryan McCaffrey with us as well. Should be a really good show. So I'm not going to waste a lot of time with an intro, man. Let's get to it.
Now, as always, if your email box is full and your DMs are just incredibly busy for the day, that's because Baron Jones 67 is trying to get a hold of you, baby. The communication director at level1gaming.com. Baron Jones, what's going on, Chief?
Emailing, wheeling, and dealing. Dude, we got Ryan McCaffrey on. Like, I'm gonna tell you, I'm good. We're good. Let's start. Let's go.
Next up, my right hand, man. Flo Hogan, what's going on, sis?
What's going on? Again, let me know if the audio levels are banging or not banging. And this is kind of like one of those streams, you know, when we had Danielle Rain on for an interview. I've been watching Ryan McCaffrey for so long that it's like, I'm in the presence of a god. So...
I'm going to hang up now. I'm going to go. I can't top that. Guys, it's been fun. Good show.
Good show. I'm excited for this. And I hope you guys, you know, sit down and watch and listen to what we got to say. And I'm here for it.
Not last but not least, but next up, DALLAZ.
Man.
Oh. You got me. You win today.
We're gonna.
So I don't know. Like, it's crazy to watch guests like witness that game of chicken and not know what's going on. It's like the most entertaining thing in some podcasts. So like, I really dig it. So first of all, let's say shout out to Famous Entertainment 2000, aka Professor X, aka Famey and T2K, aka Zordon, aka the dude in the chair. Actually, I don't know. I think Hugger is closer to the dude in the chair.
This is true.
I don't know what it is. I'm glad that he didn't start shining and get famous and forget about us. He actually brought other famous people here to meet us, which is crazy because you know we show out in front of company. I don't know how to act. But you know,
this is true.
Glad to see new people. Glad to see new people that's not actually new people, because it's crazy how many people y'all actually get on that I'm fans of before content creation. So, you know, either way, I'm ready. Let's get it.
Let's do it.
Now, last but not least, someone I have been a fan of for as long as I can remember. Someone which we had a show the other day we had to give our flowers to because it is well deserved. Often and at all times, the great Ryan McCaffrey. Thank you, Ryan, for coming through today.
That's can't top that intro. Those intros were I really should go now because it's just, you know, I'm just gonna bring it down from here. No, it's you guys are all very kind. Thanks for inviting me. Sorry it took a little while to make happen. It's been a busy stretch here, but really thrilled to be sitting down with you guys.
Awesome. And so what we like to do when we have guests on for the first time is we like to get a backstory of you. So could you tell us how we went from Ryan McCaffrey, who may have just started playing video games, to what we like to say now, the great Ryan McCaffrey?
2 sets.
2-1.
Every time you say that, I'm doing this.
What happened?
OBS decided to not show our video boxes, so give me 2 secs, guys.
We still live?
Oh yeah, we still live.
Oh yeah, we live.
Oh, you were. Oh, and I'm an idiot. So as she fixed that, could you tell us how you started in the game industry? How you go from someone who loves video games to where you are now at IGN, and such a big figure that you are to us, most people.
You got it. I will try to give you the Cliff's Notes version here. I mean, the short version is I have loved games since I was a kid. I'm the exact right age for the original Nintendo. Bought my first Nintendo with my first communion money when I was, 8 or 9, something like that.
Nice.
And just never looked back. My friends and I always loved games. It's something we never grew out of. We only grew more into it. And I just happen to be my best subject and my favorite subject in school was always writing, English, just that side of my brain. And so I always read all the big video game magazines when I was a kid, EGM, Game Pro, and then later PC Gamer. And at one point, I think it must have been around high school, you know, you kind of inevitably started thinking about, well, what do I want to do with myself? And I looked at I get these magazines that day it would come in the mail every month for, the younger generation now has no idea, but back in the print days, that you just check the mail every day. It's like, oh, is that new issue going to come in today? And that was always such a great day. And I just thought to myself one day, well, you know what? This is what I like to write. I love video games. Maybe I can be one of these people in this magazine. And when I graduate, so I went to journalism school at Arizona State, which big party school reputation, but their journalism school is actually awesome. The Walter Cronkite School of Journalism, very well respected. Got my degree there. And as soon as I graduated, I just started sending emails to every game magazine and website I could think of. And I was lucky that Official Xbox Magazine wrote me back and said, you know what, we've got an opening. Send us some writing samples. And I went out and bought OXM because the secret is I was a straight up PC gamer exclusively at that time. I'd kind of moved off of consoles because of Doom back in 93, 94. Doom changed everything for me gaming wise. And, but anyway, so I went out and bought OXM and just studied it, like literally studied it like just like a holy document. And did some writing samples in their style, sent them in, and they invited me out for an interview and was lucky enough to get the opportunity, and the rest has been history. I've been very fortunate to just combine my skill and passion for writing into my passion for video games. And I've just tried to, carry myself with dignity and respect and work hard ever since. And after 19 years, I'm still here, still hanging around.
19, that's a long time. How do you, because you are to a lot of people you can be a polarizing figure. Your words carry to a lot of people. You have a lot of respect from gamers alike. How does that work when sometimes you have to say some of the more controversial things and you're going to get flooded with things on Twitter and stuff like that? How do you handle being able to say such polarizing things when you're honestly just giving your opinion?
Well, the reality, number one, the mute function on Twitter is amazing. Mute this thread and just put it out there, walk away. But if it's a video or something on IGN, I mean, the thing is, I'm not going to be one of those people. I mean, I am a journalism trained person. It's not to say, I'm not out there like covering wars or anything like that. I write about toys, and that is a privilege, and I recognize my position in that. It is entertainment media. It is not life or death. But at the same point, I do take it very seriously, and I try to treat the job with a lot of respect. And these are companies. These are not factions to be to have fealty pled to. It's if they make a mistake, call them out on the mistake. Because guess what? If you never call them out on a mistake, they're never going to get better. It's not the way. They're never going to improve. So you gotta take the good with the bad. You got to call it both ways. Because then if you do nothing but praise, oh my gosh, I love you, company X. Well, then you know what? Then your praise eventually begins to ring hollow. And it's like, you know what? This guy says nothing but nice things. How do I know any of this is legitimate? And it's the opposite. It's true too. Like the internet's so full of vitriol and hatred, where if you just do nothing but just complain, console war, this, that. It's just like, who needs the negativity in their life? So happy medium is where I like to try to be. So, if I've got people saying that I'm paid off by this company or he's always nice to the same company, then it's just like, I must be doing something right if I got both sides yelling at me.
We always, somehow, every show, we always end up saying something praiseful about Game Pass, and we've been, hey, you guys are getting paid by Microsoft. I'm like, I wish Microsoft would cut me a check because I would be advertising Xbox Game Pass every just like this. $9.99 a month, right? I would be advertising it.
Do you see the Ferrari in the driveway? No, there's no. Nothing's been paid off.
Right?
I would take some stock.
Not the Ferrari, but you are a big Tesla fan, and watching,
Heated.
some of the things that you post and your shows about Tesla, like I think I told my wife a couple weeks ago, I was like, maybe time for a Tesla. So if you could give people one thing, because I know it's someone who's a big Tesla fan like yourself, one reason to go pick up a Tesla, what would it be?
Oh man, it's it's just fun. It's probably more fun than what you think it is. I think the smart thing that they've done, that Tesla's done, is they get you from multiple angles. If you're like safety obsessed, like I want my family in the safest car possible, like Volvo has had that reputation for a long time. Well,
Long time.
Tesla is objectively, according to United States and European government testing, the safest cars they've ever tested. If you want to be green, you're thinking environmentally, well, there's zero emissions cars. They put nothing into the atmosphere. They get cleaner as they go. You can put solar panels on your house and drive solely on sunshine for the entire time you own the car. They can get you that way. Or if you're like me and you just love cars and you love performance, well, my car does 0 to 60 in 3.1 seconds. It'll beat just about anything off the line, and it's just a little mid-sized sedan, and so they're just fun. So however, it's kind of, they get you from any few different ways, and I just love it. I mean, are they perfect? Certainly not. Do they have downsides? Certainly, but I just think they're, if you get a chance to drive one, take it and see what you think.
Be honest. Have you tried to play your Xbox in your Tesla?
Not the Xbox. There's no way to wire it up well.
Gotcha.
There are USB ports, but yeah, sadly no way to tap in to the battery pack of the car to power a console. But I guess my daughter has had the Switch, just plugged in and charging which you could do that in any car. That's not an electric car specific thing. But they're getting there. I mean, I've played Cyberpunk 2077 in a Tesla. The new Tesla's, the new Model S has a 10 teraflop GPU in it. So and they have Cyberpunk running on it. So we're getting there.
Does it crash
we're getting
the car?
towards that gaming car future. Can't do it while you're driving. Yeah, the car has to be in park to play anything.
After seeing that Tesla bot, I was like, the future is owning a Tesla bot in a Tesla car, and instead of ordering Uber Eats, I can say, "Hey, Tesla bot, get in my Tesla and go get me a Wendy's."
Exactly.
Have you never watched iRobot?
I'm ready for it.
Cool with
I'm
that.
ready for it. I'm
ready.
so ready for it.
That robot's gonna murder you, and I'm gonna laugh.
What could possibly go wrong?
Right?
I mean,
But apparently, it's supposed to be like 5'3", 5'4",
5 miles an hour,
125 pounds. I can take down a Tesla bot, I think.
You gotta be punching metal, my guy.
I think I can take that bot down. Like
Let's
I'm
see.
walking around with
I have a little-
You a big boy, though.
3 Popeyes biscuits with no water, and you ready to throw hands at a robot? Come on, man. Come on.
So there's
Don't
a movie
embarrass me.
called Avengers: Age of Ultron. There's Terminator. There's iRobot. There's a show called Love, Death, and Robots. There's The Matrix. There's a movie called Ex Machina. Singularity. Have y'all seen it? The list can go on. All I'm saying is, every last one of those things is a reason not to have a robot running around.
What about the Jetsons, though, where you just have a helper robot around the house?
There it is.
There's some things with
Grogu
the
was
Jetsons.
special.
Jetsons
as
ran longer
humans-
than all of those other ones.
These humans go, can we, our first thought is, can we, do something with it, and can we do something to it? So I don't trust us as humans to get that
People are-
far.
People are
That's fair.
People
That's
are
a fair
weird.
Can it do something to us?
Exactly.
Oh Lord.
Does it vibrate?
Yeah.
That's what humans
I'm
ask.
getting upset because I can't remember the name of the robot in the Jetsons.
Rosie.
Rosie, there it is.
How did you
Me all
remember
day.
Yeah, I'm old.
No, you're
You know
not
what's
old.
crazy?
Everybody
Before we
here
get
is
to
old.
the gaming topic, we were doing the thumbnail, and we was like, "Wow!" Because there's not a lot of pictures of Ryan McCaffrey on the internet.
Thank
That
God.
shocked me. Shocked me. I was like, I know he dates himself a lot, but I swear Ryan's like 22 years old. Like I don't know
You got
what
a
he's
baby
doing.
face.
They
I was
just a
like, oh
swoosh.
no, he has baby face.
Your
Even with the
candidate
beard,
showing.
you got baby face.
Yeah, I'll take it for as long as it lasts. I'll take it.
There we
Forever.
go. Well, what that was the answer. We're gonna jump right into the actual gaming topics now that we're off the Tesla and babyface talk. We're gonna jump right into some Halo because Ryan, I was fortunate enough to be on Podcast Unlocked. Thank you again. It was
Absolutely.
an amazing invite. I spoke up and I said I believe that this is the 343. This is the Halo that we forget about Bungie. This is 343's Halo, and I think it's gonna be their best Halo. I think it's going to give us a grounded 343 Halo. And everything was all sunshine and rainbows. This was right before the technical test. And now some things are starting to come out that are making people worry. So I do want to get your thoughts on this. So we're hearing now that there is no Forge day one.
Right.
There is no co-op campaign day one. And we're getting these myriad of things coming, which seems almost weekly at this point leading up to launch. We still haven't had seen more of the campaign. So I do want to get your thoughts where we stand right now. And me trying to keep in mind whatever NDAs you might be under. What are your thoughts on where we stand in Halo Infinite? And if you're maybe semi-worried about some of the things that aren't there day one?
Yeah, I mean, I am. I mean, it's been 6 years, so gamers have every right to be disappointed and frustrated by the fact that this thing is going to ship without a couple of big modes in it. That's never happened with a mainline Halo game before. It's always shipped as a full package whenever it's come out. Granted, this one's intended to be a sort of living service of sorts that just keeps building and keeps going over time, but nevertheless, it's still a thing that if you're not a Game Pass member, they're going to charge $60 for, and you're going to get part of that. You're going to get that campaign, and then you'll get the rest of it later. So I completely understand any trepidation, frustration, disappointment there. But I do agree that this is going to be I think this is the make or break for 343. And I don't mean that in the like doom and gloom, the studio's going to get shut down sense if this isn't received, if this isn't game of the year. I'm not suggesting that. But I do think in terms of 343's reputation, like they've had the time, they've presumably had the budget. They've, from what we can see from the outside, been given every resource, every opportunity to make this Halo their own and really redefine Halo for the next 20 years. So if this falters, if this does not prove to be up to the standard that we hope and expect from Halo, then yeah, the criticism is justified. But at what I share with you here, Fame, is that this will be their Halo. Like, this is the first time. Like, I loved Halo 4. I know not everybody loves 4's campaign. I'm a big fan of that. 5, the campaign, I conversely don't like at all. But the multiplayer was amazing.
Yes,
and they have yet to put them together they have yet to put the great campaign and the great multiplayer together into one package. But I think what you can pretty fairly say, regardless of how you feel about 4 and 5's campaign, they both pretty well followed the template laid down by Bungie all those years ago. This game, Infinite, is throwing that old formula out, and they are trying this open world thing, open ring, go anywhere you want. So it is going to be totally new, for better or for worse. And that I appreciate. Like, even if it doesn't end up totally being amazing, and I mean, I hope it does, but I am grateful, and I'm glad that they are trying to reinvent it and trying to redefine it and make it their own for the new generation here.
And I think, to me, that's the most important part. Because again, I enjoyed 4's campaign, not the multiplayer. I enjoyed 5's multiplayer, but not the campaign, because I don't think that campaign was what it was built up to be. So I'm totally right there with you. I still think this will be their stamp of a game. But also, I get why people who are genuinely concerned, because there's some people who, I mean, co-op. I mean, how many people really planned on playing the campaign co-op day one? I don't think not a lot of people. But I digress.
It's only one.
There's a lot of people that love to just jump in with a brother, sister, best friend, spouse, partner, whatever it is. It's a big tradition for a lot of people here over the last 20 years.
Yeah, cousin in my case. One of my favorite gaming memories growing up was Halo 1 and 2 with my cousin. So I don't know, man. I want to say, I don't know how old I was. 15-year-old me, 15-year-old me would have been upset. Maybe not now. I mean, but y'all my only friends, so whatever.
Oh man, I don't know what to say. Aw or like, aw.
Dang.
Oh.
Like I know.
Or like,
Nani.
my
Uh-oh.
bad. Go ahead, Baron.
Oh no, I was gonna say it's for me Halo 2. I remember running around fighting over who's gonna be Master Chief or the Arbiter. Like, that was a very serious thing. And then even the idea that there's like at this point there's no split screen co-op. That's a big loss because, like Ryan said, that was a major staple within what Halo was. Sitting on the tank as you're riding. Was it Halo 2? Sitting on the tank as whoever's driving the tank across the bridge, and then somebody sitting on the side of it like you're one of the Spartans. Like that was all a forming time. Now for me, Halo 3 is kind of where I just kind of stopped. So yeah, that's where I left. But I will say that Game Pass, I think, is gonna boost up, reinvigorate life around Halo and with Halo Infinite. I mean, it's just especially for all the people who are signed up, it's not gonna cost them anything extra. I think where it's gonna take a hit with these not having these Forge or the couch or co-op is the people who have to shell up the money. The people who don't want to get the subscription service, but they want the Halo. I think that's who it's really gonna hit harder than. I know for me, it's not gonna affect me that much. Maybe I'm gonna be a little frustrated, but it didn't affect my pockets.
I think what a lot of the what Microsoft, I believe, is banking on is that multiplayer being free to play. Like, can we compete with Apex? Can we compete with Call of Duty? Can we compete with Fortnite? Right? I think if the multiplayer is as amazing as we all expect it to be, and it's that free to play title that people are running to, that people are spending microtransactions on, even if the campaign isn't great for all intents and purposes, if the multiplayer is long lasting and people are spending money, I think it's going to be a win for 343 regardless.
See,
I know it's kind of bad to state. I know that sounds bad. I know how bad that sounds. As a gamer to say that, right? I understand how bad that sounds. I'm just thinking from the mindset of the company, hey, we have the number 2 or 3 game that's being viewed on YouTube or Twitch. It's constantly up there daily. We got the microtransactions rolling in. We got multiple seasons going on, because you got to admit, you were super excited when we saw the last trailer for the first season of Halo, right? That was exciting. If they keep that momentum going, even if the campaign is decent, not world breaking, not world beating, but decent, I think that may be considered a win for Microsoft and 343.
I mean, I think that there's a Halo and sets a very high degree of difficulty for itself in that, like, if you look around to all the major first-person shooter franchises, how many of them still have a campaign that is just totally beloved every time out, or at least really anticipated, people are invested in it, and a multiplayer that's really beloved and people are really invested in? Like Call of Duty, they still, except for Black Ops 4, they're still doing a campaign every year.
yeah.
But arguably, a lot of people haven't really been invested in the campaign since, like, Modern Warfare 1, Modern Warfare 2, Black Ops 1.
Yeah.
And it's really pretty much a multiplayer first community. I mean, you had things like Evolve come out that didn't even have a single player. Battlefield's not even doing a single player this time.
Yeah.
And so I feel like, Halo is really, I mean, even Doom is the opposite. Doom doesn't have multiplayer. Not okay. They have battle mode, which is a unique little thing, but it's not what people are going to Doom for. They're going for the campaign. So Halo's really the last of the kind of the major first-person shooter series and franchises that's trying to satisfy both camps. And we should hold it to that high standard. We should not say, well, everybody else just kind of gets one of them right, so I guess it's fine if you just do one of them well. But it's it's a tall order that they've got, and I'm rooting like hell for them to knock them both out of the park, because I don't want a future where Halo campaigns are just fine or less than fine, like in the case of Halo 5. I want a great, like, just memorable, amazing Halo campaign to go with that, awesome multiplayer that just doesn't feel like any other multiplayer game.
Do you see Microsoft wanting to go that route with? I know it's I don't want to say this as a concrete thing, but there's a notion that Microsoft isn't really vested in the big AAA story, play through one time. It's really about the reoccurring game and logging in multiple times to play this game. Like, do you see Microsoft as well wanting that big time story when it comes to Halo?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, this is the biggest thing they have. I mean, they've spent. I'm not privy to the budget sheets, but I would imagine the size of that team at 343, not only internal people, but the mile-long list of contractors that you'll see in the credits, plus the fact that it's been 6 years. Halo Infinite's, again, this is me speculating. Nobody take this as a headline because I have nothing to back this up. But it's probably the highest. It's probably the highest budget game. Yeah, stop. No, please. Last thing I need. It's probably the highest budget game they've ever made internally, first party. I can't possibly imagine what they've spent more money on than Halo Infinite, given, again, the time and the number of people and the talent. So, they know that this is, if this isn't like a 9 out of 10 game across the board, or hopefully even a 10 out of 10 game, then the future of Halo is maybe not as the biggest thing they have anymore. Maybe, I mean, you could argue that, well, they bought Bethesda, and congratulations, Elder Scrolls, you're the new king of Xbox. So we'll see. We'll see what happens, but I want nothing more than for Halo to go back to being a 10 out of 10 kind of game.
Yeah.
Just to piggyback off of that before I go to Citizen Snips, do you think that still to this day it's Halo, it's Master Chief, and not Gears?
Oh yeah, I mean
Forza, because for a while you can kind of say, well, Gears is the top franchise being played at the moment by Xbox gamers.
You think it's because I'm old that I still think it's Halo? Because that could definitely be the case. It could just be like my attachment personally to Halo Combat Evolved in Halo 2, right? Because Gears kind of put in work. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Gears actually has been and had been doing a thing, right?
Consistently good.
Consistently, right? Gears 5 was one of those games that got me back on Xbox, right? Okay, so just to set the scene for you for a little bit of context. I got an OG Xbox in a box behind me, right? And after the OG Xbox, I just kind of got cut off and I went to PlayStation, eventually went to PC, and just was like, I thought I could just play, get Game Pass for PC and be fine, right? I don't know, eventually I think Fame got in my ear and was like, get an Xbox. He literally did that right here, right? It was kind of warm and I didn't know how to handle it, right? So I just bought an Xbox from him, right? And I'm glad I did at this point. I don't know. It probably is because I'm an old man that I'm more attached to Halo than Gears, but I cannot deny what they've been doing over the years. So I think if we talking about work, then I have to give it to Gears. If we talking about legacy, then I have to give it to Halo.
That's fair.
I agree.
Yeah. And I agree that Gears is, I don't think Gears gets enough credit these days. I totally agree with you. I see it in the community. There's this, I don't know if it's because they've, because Marcus Phoenix isn't the main character anymore or what, but yeah, I thought 4 was great. And I think 5 is excellent. I think it's in really good hands there at the Coalition. And yeah, I think it just doesn't seem to just get enough. I don't think it gets the respect it deserves.
You know, I don't know if the photo I seen was real. Take it as a grain of salt. That was a Xbox All Access picture floating around the internet to where you no longer it wasn't Marcus Phoenix in that photo. You know, the one with the two Xboxes in front and all of it wasn't Marcus Phoenix, but they added in the Psychonauts and other stuff. So that could be a big case. Is no Marcus Phoenix, and some people are, but I love Kate. I love the story of Kate. I love what they're doing. But Snips, I did want to come to you as our resident PC gamer. Your thoughts and concerns about Halo Infinite.
So as the game's going to be coming out, I'm still happy to get to play it. Right. The no co-op campaign at launch is a little bit of a bummer. I had played through the MCC with my buddy Patrick, so that was like a cool thing that we kind of got together to do. So we were probably going to do that with the new one as well. So I guess I'll run it solo first, whatever. My biggest concern, and I'm not the Forge I wanted in the game, obviously, but it's not a huge detractor for me at launch personally. My biggest concern is the real reason why they are deciding to release the game when it's not fully complete. Is it that co-op and Forge are so far out that they think they can't wait to get everything together and release it all at once? Do they feel like, man, we really don't want to miss Halo on another holiday because of how our financials are looking or something like that? I will want to know the reason why. And the reason why is going to be a determiner of how big my is. Because if it's financial stuff, like I get it, companies got to make sure their books look good, years coming to an end. You want to make sure your shares are driving up in price as much as possible. So if you think even an incomplete Halo at holiday time with that limited edition console bundle is going to get you there, you got to do what you got to do. But if it's the latter or the former, from what I said earlier, if it's that you think those two pieces are so far away from completion that you don't want to hold out that long to release the game, then I'm worried. Because this game has already undergone a pretty significant delay, to the point where we were wondering how the heck they ever thought it was going to be ready in the first place anyway. Unless they knew the whole time that was going to be something that they were going to delay massively and they just waited until the last minute to tell us, or if it was a oh crap moment for them after that showcase where they were like, nope, we got a whole lot of work to do. That's what concerns me, is what's going on behind the scenes. What's your reasoning for making these decisions? If it's financially driven, I get it. Business is a business. You got to do what you got to do. If it's like progress and amount of work to be done reasons, that's a little bit concerning. Because it's not, this isn't a small indie dev. These isn't 5 dudes working on this in their spare time after work or something like that. This is a fully funded, mega big developer as you can get. You should have your ducks in a row for something this major, and you should be able to get things out in a timely fashion. So that's what concerns me about it. But overall, I'm still excited for the game. I think it'll be really cool. Everything I've seen so far looks nice. The visuals have improved a whole ton since that first showcase they did. The maps look really cool for multiplayer. It may be the first, because I haven't cared about Halo multiplayer since 2. 2 was my deep dive off the edge with my middle school buddies getting together to play after school every day. And then 3, 4, 5, I never really cared for the multiplayer. I did the single player. I still enjoyed it, but I was like, I'm not worried about the multiplayer. I'll go play Counter-Strike or something else. But now the way this multiplayer is looking, it's getting me interested. And of course, because I'm an esports guy as well, my favorite org that I follow and a bunch of others have officially announced their entrance into the Halo esports league that's going to be forming. So rosters are coming out. Very exciting times. It looks like it should be a whole lot of fun. So those parts I'm very, very excited for, and are reasons I want the game now. But if it was up to me, if it's not going to be a whole nother year and you can wait to get it all together and release it at once, I'd be cool with that too.
Last thing about this, I want to go over to Hugger and Ryan. You can piggyback off of this. With this game, originally was supposed to being a release last year, and it was delayed from what we hear because of the feedback that it got, and the famous Craig meme. We all remember what happened last year. With us now
Craig's
knowing that,
okay, Craig was a martyr.
Yeah. I'm surprised when they get a Craig edition Series X, right?
He has to be a boss.
Yes.
With it being delayed supposedly because of the feedback that they received last year, Hugger, is it not concerning that this game was supposed to release last year? So does this? I know everything isn't 1-1 and apples to apples, So does that mean we would have been possibly 2 years in before we've gotten a co-op? Like, were these things not planned as well last year?
You, man, this is a weird question to ask somebody like me because I am for very much delaying games, and I don't care how long it takes. Because before Cyberpunk came out, they were on the it's ready when it's ready, and I'm a proponent of games should be delayed. Mass Effect Andromeda, Anthem. I think Rogue Company could have done with another a bit coming out, or a bit of wait. Final Fantasy 14 should have waited a bit. ESO should have waited, but I think they should wait to put it out, but they need to appeal to a board. That's the thing. We are gamers. They don't care about us. They need to appeal to a board that pushes their actual numbers out and gives them the actual financing. I just want the game to be what people expect it to be. Like I said, I'm not a Halo person. I didn't get to play Halo until recently. I didn't get into Halo until a former, guy used to be on here, Trevor, was like, let's go play some Halo. Halo Combat Evolved. And I'm like, okay. So we started playing in the Master Chief Edition, and I'm not a Halo fan. I understand its relevance, though. But I think we would rather have a game that we want instead of a pushed out version. So if people could back off some of these studios, let Bungie develop what it's supposed to, and
343.
343.
Ooh,
I'm sorry.
Oh,
I was thinking of the Witch DLC that's coming out for Destiny 2, and I was like, how am I going to
gotcha.
afford that? Because Canada does not play with them prices.
I just knew she was about to say. I was thinking of the good old days.
No, I'm not thinking of the old days. I'm thinking
yeah.
about February 2022 when the DLC launches.
I still wholeheartedly believe, even though I'm a bit concerned, I do think this is going to be an amazing game. I think we're going to look back and say we were concerned about it was much to do about nothing. I'm definitely looking forward to it. Fingers crossed, toes crossed, legs crossed. Yeah.
I hope it's what
they've given us reason to be concerned, but I think the final product can still be solid. So
I hope it's what the people who want it to be. It is the thing that they want it to be. That's all I want. People can enjoy the game, and we don't have console wars over it. We know we're going to, but
yeah, we're going to, and it's never going to end.
Yeah.
So to move on, Gamescom, right? So I want to do one final roundup. You know her.
No,
you
know her.
I want to do one final roundup of Gamescom because I think we've talked about it maybe enough at this point. But now time has gone by. I do want to go around the panel and ask, what was the one game that stood out to you the most, and why? And I'd like to start with, I guess, Ryan.
Oh, that's a great question. I mean, I would say, see, now I'm blanking on the name. The awesome game that stood out to me, I can't get the game. It's like Midnight Fight Express. Is that it?
Yes.
You know what I'm talking about? Did I get it right?
Yeah.
Or am I
Actually,
bungling
you
the
got it.
word?
Yeah.
I don't know. Something about that just like struck a kind of a like 16-bit era, even though it's like a 3D game. Like there's just something about it that kind of had like a nostalgia bit to it, but also it looked unique and it looked fresh and it looked fun. It looked engaging. That jumped out at me as like of everything that was shown. Like, no disrespect to any of the other games, but like I was like, oh, okay, that looks like something new, something different, something I want to keep an eye on. And in fact, when we did Unlocked, maybe it wasn't Unlocked because that was the Xbox showcase, but just when we were all talking on Slack and internally at IGN, that was the one where we were all like, oh, like that seemed to be the one that popped out for a lot of us. So yeah, I'm gonna go with that one. I'm gonna keep a close eye on that game.
Now, Baron, I kind of have an idea where you're going, but I could be wrong because we may have the same game. What game stood out to you the most?
Okay.
One game. There we go. I knew it.
And the reason I love Midnight Fight Express, that's actually on my list because that reminded me of like the Kunio series. It looked like it reminded me of Kunio series, of Absolver, but with Dokev, when I seen that, I just imagined like this is where the future, it was just the little stuff, the water, the movements, the transformations, the way the world reacted to the character. The designs weren't the best in terms of like skin tone and all that other fun stuff, but that you could fix that. But in terms of like the tech that seems like is there, I imagine when I think future of platformers and action adventure games, I imagine Dokev. Like Dokev is the embodiment of that future. And just to see it, it almost looked like a concept. Like that's what it reminded me of. I thought we were watching an extreme, like just concept, like look what this engine can do in this bubble. And that's what that game looks like it is. And that's so Dokev.
I kind of felt that coming. Hugger?
Ooh. It's a weird one because I know it's not a typical game that I would usually play, but that little cute devilish Cult of Lamb. It's gonna be the
Oh
next
yeah, that looked
Binding,
cool. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It's gonna be the next Binding of Isaac. It's super cute. I'm hella interested in it because it gives me like sea salt vibes and Binding of Isaac vibes, and I love the little art style. And I'm for it because it's adorable yet sadistic at the same time.
Like you.
Did you just call me little?
That was there. It was there and it was accurate.
Okay, I got you.
But I didn't say
got
that.
you, baby boy. I got you.
Dallas Man. The one
Oh.
game that stood out to you as we wrap up.
I'm sure y'all knew for me it was Midnight Fight Express. Y'all know how I am about fight choreography, especially when it's done well in games. And you know how underrated I feel Absolver is. You know how excited I am for Sifu. And it looks like the closest thing to that, and that's my headspace right now, right? Now Dokev does look fire, right? It does look something that's right on my alley. It does look like something Pokemon should have did. And I know that's the meme right now. I know everybody's saying it, but it's true. However, are we really not gonna talk about how ashy they black kids were in that game?
Yeah.
It's the only thing that bothered me. Everything else
Yeah.
about that game looks so good, so A1, right? But I don't know. It made me itch how ashy those kids looked.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's probably, if that game is what we saw in that trailer, that'll probably be a day one for me. But I'm not as excited about that as I am for that fight choreography in Midnight Fight Express.
It looks like an
Respect. And
isometric, my friend Pedro.
Ooh.
Yes. And you know how I felt about my friend Pedro. Exactly.
all right, Citizen Snips. Last but not least.
I mean, I hate to just kind of jump on the bandwagon, but I have to say Dokev just because it caught me the most off guard. Like I wasn't ready for it. I wasn't
Yes.
expecting it. It looked so much better than what I thought. Like when it came out, I was like, at first it like from the zoom out, you're like, oh, okay, cool looking world. But then when it gets in closer, you're like, wow, there's a lot more detail in this than I thought. Everything's really fleshed out. So it takes my vote just because of how much it caught me off guard, and it does look like an interesting, cool game. That's kind of Pokemon-ish, but with a nice little unique twist to it. So that's the one for me for sure. I was
Hey,
not
can I ask
expecting it.
y'all?
Completely blindsided me.
Can I
Hey,
ask
Baron.
y'all if we actually pronouncing this right?
Nobody
I don't
knows.
know.
I don't know. I don't know. I've never heard
I kinda
anybody say
wanna
the
call
name
it
of the game.
Doke 5
Like-
because they capitalized the V at the
5.
end of the word for some reason. And I'm like, is that a
This isn't
Roman
Street
numeral?
Fighter.
Until
Yeah.
until Perlibus tells us, I'm gonna just go
Yeah.
with what we got.
So, Baron, I want to ask you, would we know this when the game was originally announced, it was supposed to be an MMO, and it's now a action adventure. And I know you're really looking forward to
New World.
the game New World, right? Because
Yes.
you're a big MMO person. Are you a bit disappointed that Dokev is not an MMO and it's an action adventure title now?
I'm actually really happy that it's like I imagine it's going to be more powerful. Like I really look at Dokev as a template for the future of action adventure games. Like just off of you, of course I haven't played it. Like I really truly look at this as that's what action adventure games are going to look like when you put a lot of money behind it and a lot of time behind it. These are what the AAA level games are going to look like. So I'm imagining that it's going to make it even more visually pleasing by it not being an MMO and having to worry about managing a bunch of different people's internet and IPs and or ISPs. Like it's just going to be you in this world and whatever your console, PC. I believe. Did they even announce what it's going to be on? Once again, this game.
Next gen only, I believe.
Okay.
I believe it's PS5, Xbox Series, and PC. I don't think it's Xbox One or PS4.
That's great news, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, that makes me happy. Like seriously, lock this down, put it to where it needs some power behind it to run, and push the envelope. Like really push this forward because, like, I know it's kind of going off tangent, but with these consoles, for me, upgrading it really was more of like the speed, like being able to bounce back and forth between games. I'm not a graphics junkie, but I can see the power behind Dokev, like just off the rip. I'm not the guy counting frames, like that's not me at all, but I can see like that what's going on there is power and progress. Just in that, like it caught me off guard, all of that, but it really power. I see it. The water. I mean, last time I seen water that got me hyped like that was Sea of Thieves. Like, and it really, and Sea of Thieves, we all know the water. That's amazing. But yeah, it's power behind Dokev. Like, I hope it's like 80% of what they're showing us.
I do want to. I want to go to the chat here. We had a comment from Slow Mo Backflap. Slow Mo, thanks for coming through, brother. He said it's concerned with Dokev or Doke, what we're calling it. Yes. There you go. It's Prolibus games are usually visually impressive but perform poorly. I wonder if Dokev is too ambitious for their game engine.
He's not
They
wrong.
usually do MMOs.
Black Desert does perform badly on some consoles and some PCs, but you could really say that for anything.
Yeah, I was about to say the only experience I have with one of their games is Black Desert on PC, and granted, I spent a lot of money on my PCs, but it played fine for me. But yeah, I can understand it having kind of steep hardware requirements.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's going to be fun. I think
I do too.
People need to lay off Saints Row, though. It is going to be customizable. You can customize your character. People aren't going to go to Twitter to read that, though. It wasn't announced in the trailer. It wasn't announced in the trailer, and that's on them. I will say that. They should have announced it in the trailer that you can customize your character, because some people won't go and research more. Because right now, that Saints Row trailer on IGN is sitting at a 34%. So there's 19K likes, 38K dislikes.
Eesh. Well,
the PR person on that one.
Hey, no, seriously, because what threw me off was I was like, oh, and I think we even said it during the live stream. I was like, oh, they're definitely gonna go the Grand Theft Auto 5 route, because if you remembered on the cell phone, it had the 4 images, like that's gonna be mapped to who you swap to, like with GTA 5, and I was like, oh, so we're just dealing with this team. That's how they sold it. They really did sell it as that. So I don't blame
folks. I want my big booby blue lady to run around, lady man to run around. That's what I want. I want the Saints Row 4 ridiculousness, but kind of toned back into the realness that Saints Row 2 was, except for we don't need Carlos dragging behind a car anymore. That was
saddest Red Asphalt is easily one of the saddest missions in a video game I've ever played.
We don't need to bring that back. That was terrifying and horrifying. And still, Saints Row 2 came out. Baron, you were playing it. I was in kindergarten. How old were you again?
Wow.
I love you.
I was for sure high school.
High school. So I was probably in middle school or probably in elementary school, because your guys' high school is weird. Your guys' high school is 4 years.
Yes.
Is y'all okay over there, though?
Yes. 4 years. Yes.
Ours is 3, and we don't do that sophomore, junior, or any of that.
Canada's weird.
Yeah, we're 4 hockey rinks surrounded by polar bears. What can I say?
There you go. As we transition, I want to start this next topic off by going to, again, our resident. I do this a lot to you, Kevin, and I apologize that you are our resident. Like when it comes to PC, like talk-ish, like I like to come to you,
That's
right?
where I spend most of my time, man.
So there has been an uproar about the new PS5 and the heatsink, quote-unquote, issue. That the heatsink is a lot smaller on the new model, which is making resellers jack up the price for the original model, and we have people running around and saying that this may cause the PS5 to run hotter, or it may not run as efficient because of the smaller heat.
Is this that temperature difference thing I've seen floating around? Like it's like a 5 degree difference or something like that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So, granted, I didn't really look that far into it. Anytime I see stuff like this, I tend to just avoid it like the plague. Like Ryan was saying earlier, the mute button is my friend. Because it's a lot of people who just don't have any idea what they're talking about and are trying to blow things out of proportion.
Which is why I come to you.
Yeah. So here's the thing about temperatures. When you're looking at advanced electronics and high-end hardware, heat is inescapable. Heat will always be there, and heat is your worst enemy because it does cause degradation, and in extreme cases can cause like immediate failure, stuff like that. Based on the actual numbers that I've seen thrown out for like what kind of temperature differences and stuff like that they're talking about, it doesn't seem like it's going to be that significant to cause all this uproar. Is higher temps bad? Yes. So if we're just kind of trying to blanket the statement, hey, that's kind of a bummer. But if we're talking a difference of 5 degrees Celsius, and this isn't like constant, this is probably when it's under full load and stuff like that. So you're splitting hairs. It's not that huge of a difference. If you start getting into double-digit temperature differences and it's constant throughout like the entire time the machine's powered on, yeah, we could probably start getting a little bit concerned. But 5 degrees under full load, and you may get that kind of variance just in like random manufacturing variation when it comes to stuff like that. The way the thermal paste is applied could be 1 to 2 degrees C or something like that. So single-digit temperature difference in under full load, I'm not that concerned. I think they're blowing it out of proportion. They're looking for stuff to yell about because they haven't been able to yell at something for long enough, I guess. So it's all a bunch of hogwash.
Ryan, have you noticed these worries, and I use that word in quotations, floating about, and do you believe there's any realness behind people should be concerned about the heatsink being smaller in the new model PS5?
I heard about it. I haven't really dug into the community response. I mean, the reality is Sony, this is their golden goose. They're not about to sign off on, well, we have this will risk, we're going to use this cheaper heatsink because even though it's going to risk, a widespread problem or a performance throttling, no, they're not going to do that. They're not going to do that. It's almost certainly going to be fine. And yeah, I mean, maybe it's just frustration because people still can't get a PS5 and they're thinking, oh, it's already being changed and I still can't get one. So, and I get that. That's totally a valid thing of these things have been out for 10 months and there's still people that have been trying to find one for 10 months and still cannot. So I get that, but I'm not, I give Sony a little more credit than like putting something completely inferior in their golden goose that's gonna cause a problem.
Because I want to wait for the guy who does the full on comparison of I turned these PS5s on. One's the new version, one's with the original heatsink, and I ran them under full load for like 8 months straight, and this one died 2 days before that one did.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my god, the world is ending.
Yeah.
It's gonna happen. I agree. I don't think it's a big deal. Again, Sony, for all intents and purposes, other than their cameras, is PlayStation, right? When you think of Sony, PlayStation is what's pulling them along. No disrespect to are they out of the phone game like LG?
No, they still make phones. Xperia phones.
They still make phones.
Oh, yeah.
I did not know that. Okay.
Sony still makes phones and they still make the cameras for the phones.
And their cameras are top tier, right?
Oh, yeah.
They're top tier cameras, right? So definitely, I agree with you guys. I don't think it's a big deal. It's going to be interesting to see what's happening with these resellers who are now doubling the price of their original, I guess, launch PS5s because the demand, because of fear, is higher for those launch PS5s because of this possibly unwanted fear.
You know what's funny? The heatsink is only about 300 grams because I'm going to use Freedom units. It's only about 300 grams lighter than the original. That's not even a measurement that most people can put out there. Because Austin Evans took apart the two consoles, and he's like, "There's
I was about to
no
say
distinguishable
we only
difference."
use grams for illegal things.
That's on you.
Freedom units. I like it. I like
Freedom
it. I've never
units.
heard that term before.
I say that all the
Freedom
time
unit.
when it's come to temperature too, because y'all's weird. I love y'all, but
Hey, we
Fahrenheit.
love some
I mean, you didn't
Fahrenheit.
lie.
Fahrenheit.
I'll tell you what, looking at like electronic, like hardware temperatures in Fahrenheit is terrifying.
oh
I
yeah.
like looking at it in Celsius because it just sounds lower.
Well,
You're
it's
like, oh, 80
terrifying
degrees
when you
C, okay,
when you
that's
see
fine. And then
something
you're
in
like
80
145 degrees Fahrenheit. No.
Well, it should be more terrifying when you see something in the 90s and 80s in Celsius, because like, oh, that's about to melt.
That's true. Yeah.
Like when I see my
Baron.
graphics card under load, it's like, oh yeah, you playing Red Dead, you gonna be at 90? Oh, okay.
Oof.
I'm
Okay.
coming after you, Baron, because
Uh-oh.
you told me
Uh-oh.
in your
What I
heart of
say?
hearts,
Yeah.
you told me in private conversations that you wholeheartedly believe
Mhm.
that the Suicide Squad and Gotham Knights was dead.
Okay.
Okay.
We
Okay.
know now that October 16th, the DC Fandom, we are going to get a new look. And you told me you said it was dead. You lied.
Okay, let me defend myself. I said I would not be surprised if all the games that are coming out that were showcased and announced under WB Games are gonna get locked up in some type of litigation deep void, and we won't see them, and they'll just be myths that we talk about, and then somebody like 10 years from now is gonna drop a build of the game, and it's gonna exist like that PlayStation version of Gears. Like it's just like that's what I honestly thought was gonna happen, because like think about it, these games were announced 2 years ago. Most of the game, well, outside of Suicide Squad, they were announced 2 years ago. I'm talking Harry Potter, which I'm hyped. That everything about that trailer was the game that I've always wanted from the Harry Potter game. I was like, dude, it's you get to choose your house, you get to level up, RPG Harry Potter. Who doesn't want that? And then you have and then Gotham Knights. I mean, even though the game would probably be a million times better if it had the Nemesis system, but we all know where that's at. It just I didn't expect to get anything from these games once the dissolve talk started happening around WB. Who owns what, where it's gonna go. Like I just thought, and then they stopped talking about them. Like I just thought they were gonna be myths that we all just wish and cry about.
You know why?
Like Final Fantasy Tactics.
Baron was being
Advanced
a
3.
realist, because Fame, and I know this is gonna hit a nerve with you, Scalebound.
No,
Oh
come
my
on.
God, stop it.
Don't do that. I'm still hurt.
Scalebound.
I could be over it, but I'm still hurt. Let's not do
The
that.
one that was just
No.
canceled this last week, Wild, PlayStation 5.
Ah,
There's games that we know that there's a playable version out there.
Oh
that's been
yeah.
canceled. So, it is what it is.
There's not a playable version of any, unreleased
sit
legacy of
down
game.
in the
I
living
mean,
room
there was
until
no
I'm
supposed to be no
done.
playable version of
Now.
the Gears game on PS3, but there is a playable version, and I do have it on my
Aaron, you're
PC
not
now.
muted.
So, there was supposed to be no playable version of GoldenEye on Xbox, but
Dad
they
mode.
did release it up too. So, there is a playable version of these games out there somewhere. Do they get further
Ryan,
than that though?
Ryan, you have excitement for seeing these two titles and other things that we'll see at DC Fandom?
I'm so badly want the Batman to be an amazing Batman movie because I love Batman and always have. Or the history of Batman on film is so up and down. I really like the first teaser that they put out at Fandom last year. That set me on the right path. So be eager to see what that. But as far as the games go, like I'll be honest with you, I'm sure Gotham Knights will be fun. I just said I love Batman, but I actually don't love the Bat Friends that much. I'm not a big Robin, Nightwing, Red Hood.
He called him friends.
Don't disrespect them like that.
The groupies.
I don't need any of those guys.
Friends.
Don't disrespect them like that. That's like the difference between Super Friends and Justice League. Don't.
The Bat Associates.
No.
The Bat acquaintances.
We're clipping that. The
Disrespect
Bat
Jason
Friends.
Todd. Like, you know what he been
Great.
through? Did you really just
Sorry.
disrespect Jason Todd like that?
All right, go ahead, Ryan.
The other thing that kind of rubbed me the wrong way, and I'm sure, I think they even confirmed you'll be able to turn this off, but just like when you punch a guy in the face and numbers come out, damage numbers, I don't know. There's something about that, especially in a Batman universe game where it's just like, it just pulled me out. Was not feeling that. So hopefully you can turn it off. I mean, if the story's cool, I'll definitely play it. But yeah, not as excited about that one. And then Suicide Squad, Rocksteady. I mean, I'm just more curious than excited about that, in the sense that this is a studio. Their last game shipped in. Well, okay, they did the PSVR Arkham VR thing, which was clearly like a pretty small, quick project. Which, by the way, I really liked as a neat sort of tech demo of sorts for PSVR. But their last full and proper project was Arkham Knight in 2015, if I remember correctly. So we're at 6 years and counting for that. So I'm just curious to see what that team does with something that's not Batman, and what it looks like after they haven't put anything out for what'll end up being 7 or maybe even 8 years.
Well, hopefully it won't break the next consoles and not run on PC.
Yeah. Do you buy into Baron's notion at all that any type of purchase or buyout in the upcoming years could push that game even further back, eliminate it?
I can't imagine that any sale of assets with WB that could involve the game division and those studios, especially with clearly there's a lot of work that's already been put into both of those games. They're not just going to go on the shelf. They're going to get put out. It's just the question would probably be more of, if a transaction were to happen, would the new corporate overlord greedily say, we need a return on our investment right away. Put that out next month. And like, it's not ready yet. It still needs like 6 months of polish. No, put it out.
No,
that would be more of my concern.
If they were under
That would be
EA,
more of
that's
my
what would happen. EA would force that out.
I can't afford to be cyberpunked again.
Dude, what if they get like absorbed by like Deep Silver, who goes out and like buys everything on the low?
I don't think their wallet's deep enough to pick up anything in the WB catalog. I wouldn't worry about that.
Yeah, that's
you should be concerned about is Tencent, because Tencent apparently has the money to buy any and everyone, not naming Microsoft.
Anybody who would sell.
Tencent has kind of had a rough year. The last quarter, they lost almost $1 billion with Epic and all their investments. So they're kind of starting to scale back things. So I don't know.
You know what, though? Okay, so on the subject of Gotham Knights, as big a Batman fan as I am, as excited as I was, y'all know I don't do trailer breakdowns like that, but I did one for that game, right? I just had to like pick apart every little piece of that game, or every little piece of that gameplay, right? As excited as I am for that game, and as much as I just really want it to be good, I get the feeling we might get DC Avengers. You know what I mean? Like, I get the feeling we might get something like
that,
where you could drop in, drop out. Like, I mean, small differences, right? But in a nutshell, I feel like worst case scenario for that game is that.
Yeah.
As someone who still plays Avengers, I don't think you want to scare people like that. My fan calling for Batman Avengers, and I need to get back on Avengers because I do enjoy the game. I still haven't played the Black Panther expansion yet. I feel bad about it.
Wait,
disappointed.
It's because Baron drags me to Remnant every day.
Wow.
Okay, as somebody who's been in those calls, I know that's a goddamn lie.
He drags me, like I'm trying to play with my kids. He's like, it's Remnant time, like a Power Ranger. It's Remnant time. Like that's what he does to me. It's a true story.
There's no crunch. There's no crunch here.
There's no crunch at level 1. And
there's no Warren by Sing.
There's no crunch at level 1. I listen. You gotta stop.
I'm not forced to play video games.
People gonna really think
I'm
crunchy. Like, and I'm like the most lenient person like of all time.
Hang on, we gotta clarify that's none of that's actually LV1 related. That's just Fame making you play games. That is completely outside the website. That's just Fame taking up.
He's like, "Are you taking care of your family?" No, Remnant.
Bump that. Come play Remnant. Let's
Also,
go.
I
while we
hope-
here and while we live and while everybody's watching, I just want to reiterate that I don't know these people. I'm really
We
just
don't
a
know you
guest.
either.
So,
Listen, listen. Before we get to the last subject, I do want to say I do look and I'm like, Baron isn't working on a review right now, so he's free. Like
You do that.
you're not working on a review right now. That
Hey.
means you're free. You're
But you
free.
know what?
We can hop on Reddit.
You
Hey.
also had me review that little game that was made by the person that was on the Mario team.
We not. Yeah, we
I
not.
didn't force. Listen, I didn't.
You
There is
did
no
force
crunch at
me to
level
that.
one.
There is
I
no.
did
There's
not
no
force you
crunch
to
at level 1.
I did not force you to review that game.
You
I
know-
asked you to review that game.
You know, I want
asked
to
if you
talk
could review it.
about on Unlocked 504. A
Yeah.
certain young man went with his certain white shirt and talked about a certain game. Fame showed up looking like he was about to be on picture day. Ryan, have you
Wow.
watched the
Ryan,
newest?
You see how they do me?
No, have you watched the newest Dead Space remake stuff that was played yesterday on?
I actually missed it. I did not get a chance to see it. I've been heads down with some other stuff, but
You busy
it seemed
man.
like people came away reasonably happy with the direction it's going.
Which is scary today.
Yeah, right. Like people pleasant, like about a
Pleasant.
game announced that
On the internet, no one's
early
complaining.
access stuff.
Did you
End
so?
of times.
What would your thoughts be on? You didn't watch any of this, but what do you want going forward with Dead Space? Because it is probably it's cult classic status right now.
Yeah.
Easy.
I mean, yeah. Why? I mean, if the Resident Evil 2 and 3 straight remake, full on remakes, that's the blueprint, right? Like if you can recapture this thing that people really loved at the time and bring it back completely modern, technologically speaking, but also make it feel like a 2022 or whatever it's going to be, 2023 game, which I thought the Resident Evils did a great job of. They did not feel like old ass games. They felt new, even though they were very much retain the soul of the originals. I mean that is the perfect blueprint, I think. And if they can succeed in doing that, then they'll have kickstarted they'll have brought Dead Space back in a way that's going to be great for fans and valuable to EA for a while.
yeah, man, for a while.
I'm still chicken. I won't play it.
I think you should
is what
play
it is.
it. Don't play Dead Space 2 though, because that's the most terrifying one.
How much money do we need to raise for what charity
Listen,
to get you to play
listen.
Dead Space?
He already
I'm-
has to play Sekiro, so let's go
Thanks
easy
to
on
Jeff
it this
Grubb,
year.
I have to play Sekiro, and I'm going to embarrass myself and how bad I am at Souls type games. So
I played that on
know.
stream and I embarrassed myself. I do not feel sorry for you. I embarrassed
So-
myself. I don't know how bad in my last
I-
Sekiro stream.
I will no longer be taking on any bets. We have done our charity work for the year, possibly, and I'm not letting no other journalists make me play games that I know I'm going to embarrass
Hey,
myself.
on the plus side, you don't make the kind of bets that are going to have you eating a hat here in the near
Right.
future.
This is
so
true.
there's
That's gonna be a
somebody
fun-
associated with Level 1 Gaming.
Oh, he just commented Demigod Reviews, who will be eating a hat as soon as these PlayStation games are playable on PC, because he swore up and down that these
Man.
games would not be playable on
I
PC.
mean, he
That
did also
Uncharted
say
collection.
that Horizon
Mm.
wasn't going to be on
Oh, it's
PC,
nice.
so
Mm.
So, Demigod, I know you're listening because you're in the chat. Remember, it's going to be a Scully with the brim. You
No
can use
sauce.
barbecue sauce.
he said
You
no
can use
sauce.
barbecue sauce. No
You
I
sauce.
thought I thought he said he had a hat sauce. Like he had a specific sauce
Hat
just
sauce?
for hats.
Nah, he said I'm
Mhm.
gonna eat it dry, and I'm like, oh,
Oh,
okay.
Whoa.
That's how confident he was, and I
was.
can't wait for Ghost of Tsushima.
Welcome to
God of War.
Hat Ones. It's the show with spicy hats and even spicier bets.
nice.
Man,
Can we hang on? I'm sending that to copyright. One second.
Yeah, I need that.
man,
Yeah, don't run, Demi.
Raw
We see you
hat.
in there. We see you
man,
in
eating
there.
something hot and spicy. That
There
sounds
you
nice.
go. There you go.
Yeah,
We tried to save him. We tried to
tried.
save him.
We tried.
As you
What's
got-
going to be the final games? So we just need like God of War and
Well,
God of-
he said his comment
Oh,
today was that Uncharted collection. If that one's true, he's eating a hat for that. So
Mm.
oh,
But his original
There we
was
go.
Ghost of Tsushima, Horizon, and
God
God
of
of
War
War.
28.
oh, that's PC ready. They just
I mean,
waiting
I
to
have
print
it
the
on.
let's
money.
be honest, it's already on PC.
They're just
but
waiting to
legally.
print the money.
Yeah,
As soon as they
I
have
have
a
it
dip
on.
in sales, it's boom, launch it.
I have it on good source that these are coming, and I have one of the greatest people I know um, brought that information to me.
Isn't
So it's happening. So I will prepare you.
isn't that like
Yeah,
kind of, and Ryan probably knows this, where we kind of gotta, we know something and we gotta be surprised when, oh, like when Perfect Dark was announced. Oh, I'm so surprised. I knew about it 6 months ago. It's like, I'm not trying to be a
yeah.
dick, but
Oh,
we knew it was coming up. What? What
nothing,
you trying to talk about
nothing,
my long dong?
ma'am,
Damn.
ma'am,
We gotta
ma'am,
tell people we know you. I
Next.
need to chill.
ma'am,
Next.
I don't know you
ma'am.
either.
So
Next.
with that said, as you guys are at the end of the show, we like to give suggestions for people to watch and or play for the week. We like to give our guests the last suggestion. So Ryan, as I go around the room, if you don't have your suggestions ready, it'd be a great time to get those together. I'm going to start with you, Dallas. For the people who are listening now, later at level1gamer.com, Apple, iTunes, Google Play, we're like all over the place at this point. What are you giving people to watch and or play for this week?
Well, okay. Okay, so to play, we're gonna just go ahead and get this out the way. Um, Play either of the Nears, Near Automata or Near Replicant. Either of those, combat is A1. And I need to say no more about that, right? And beat them all the times that you need to beat them. Get endings A through like E, right? Um, so to watch, I just actually started back watching Hunter x Hunter. Um, and I know you anime dudes are disappointed in me for having not finished it up to this point.
I'm
Um,
about to just disown you from my life. I'm about to
but it's
just
not like I
completely.
said I didn't finish Yu Yu Hakusho. Different story, right? Okay, so I need y'all to go watch Hunter x
Fair.
Hunter. And on the side of that, y'all know I always got something left field that nobody's thinking about. So I've been taking a trip down memory lane, but to the street adjacent to memory lane, which is the street where your memories come from. And I've been watching Z Ranger. Like all the Super Sentai shows that like Power Rangers came from, and I'm starting from Z Ranger, which is the show that they got all the footage for Mighty Morphin Power Rangers from. Let me tell you that it's weird. It's exactly what you might think it is, given what you expect the source material to be, right? Tubi TV is weird, and is absolutely worth watching if you've ever been a Power Ranger fan and you want to see all of that from a different perspective, and you kind of want to like and you want to see kind of what it really was before it got colonized. Definitely go. Y'all know I love Power Rangers. Shut up. Definitely go check that out if you're a weirdo like me.
Citizen Snips, what do you got this week, brother?
So for something to play, I've got nothing new. I haven't played anything new. Started playing some more Valorant again though, so that's fun. Always good to play a game that I play for like 2 hours a week and wonder why I don't get better at it and get frustrated with myself and then just hate playing it. And then an hour after I log off, I want to play it again. So that's pretty neat. But something to watch, I do have an anime to recommend. That show I recommended last week, The Battle in 5 Seconds After Meeting. I watched that one. Pretty good, worth a watch. I think there's 8 episodes out right now, so you should check that one out. And then another one that I just started watching, Fena Pirate Princess, is a new one this season as well. Looks like it's just going to be a 12 episoder. I have a feeling it's going to have at least one more season, maybe. But what really took me away with this one is the animation's just absolutely gorgeous. When they do like the combat scenes and stuff, everything flows really well. These animators probably did not sleep for like months at a time. This stuff looks amazing. So I would check those out for sure. And yeah, I think that's about it for me. That's all I got.
Before I get to Hugger, we have one in the chat from Chakalaka. This movie isn't out yet, but it's coming out this Friday. Shang-Chi. He's saying go check it out, go support it.
That, yeah?
Yeah, we do. Hugger, what do you have to suggest for this week, my love?
To play, it's on Game Pass. It's called Dodgeball Academia. So if you like shonen type anime and all the ridiculousness that comes with it, it's on there. It's a little indie game. And to watch, because I was feeling in my feels, Dread 2012. You can watch the Sylvester Stallone one, but it's not as gory as the 2012 one, which was so long ago, 2012. So go watch that. That's all I got. Short list this week.
That remake was 2012?
Yeah.
Crazy,
Carl
right?
Urban, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I never did see that one. I always wanted to see it.
worth a
I
watch.
do
It's
remember
on
the first time
Prime.
he uses the lawmaker or whatever they call the gun. I was like, ooh,
Yeah,
like
they set it up
that's
to be
nice.
a whole new type of dread, but then I don't know what happened. I feel like it went into a like lawsuit like Jason Voorhees did where you can't touch it now because
Mm.
nothing has been done with dread. So I'm like, oh,
I do remember thinking it was pretty good though. I
it
enjoyed
was
it. It
good.
was worth a watch.
And it has Cersei Lannister in there, so before she was Cersei Lannister. So go enjoy that.
I love it when Hugger's talking and she has random accents that kick in. I'm like, oh,
What
he
you
did it
talking about,
again.
Boyo?
We have another suggestion in the chat. Host on Motivate, he's suggesting go play Gears 5, and I'm shocked because I know he kind of walked away from Gears. Not walked away from it, but he hasn't been playing it as much. So I'm shocked to see you suggest people go play Gears 5.
Oh, he loves
Gears
Gears,
5
so
this week.
Mhm.
Baron J67, what you got this week, my brother?
Gaming wise, you guys already know it's been Remnant,
Really? Empire of Sin?
Empire Sin. But no, my recommendation, because I've been bouncing back and forth, is go back and give Fallout 4 a solid try. Like, yes, it doesn't have all of the skill checks like the previous entries, but shooting mechanic wise and the base building, awesome. And TV show wise, or movie, you brought up Sylvester Stallone, and my first thought is Demolition Man. If you've never seen Demolition Man, go watch Demolition Man. Thank me later. I think that's
Let us know if
peak.
you learn how to use the 3 seashells.
Yes, please let me know if you know how to use the 3 seashells. But yeah, that's my recommendation. Definitely, I'm gonna rewatch Demolition Man tonight, like for sure.
Johnny Man 117 in the chat says, for the MMO fans, it's time for you to go and start ES.
You.
And also said the multiplayer is what he walked away from, but he still stands for Kate. We love Kate here. Kate is a mainstay. The great Ryan McCaffrey.
The God.
What
Ryan
do you suggest for
McCaffrey.
people? What do you suggest for people to play and or watch this week?
You got to play Psychonauts 2. It's even on PS4. It's on everything because it started out as a crowdfunded project, so it's on pretty much everything other than Switch. It really is just a fantastic game. You don't have to have played the first one. There's a cool little like recap that's about, I don't know, 2-3 minutes long. It's like a cinematic animatic thing at the beginning. It's just so well written, so well voiced. It feels both sort of nostalgic but also new at the same time. I feel like we don't get a lot of games like this anymore. Give it a try. It's on Game Pass, either on PC or on Xbox. And then movie TV show wise, I had a really nerdy answer, but then you guys started bringing up like cool action movies. So I'm going to go with probably the most fun I've had watching a movie in a long time. Granted, I haven't been in the theater, but I've watched a ton of stuff at home. Nobody. Bob Odenkirk was. I paid the $20 for the on-demand, like whenever it went out of theaters earlier this year, and you could rent it at home. Probably the coolest action movie that I've seen in a long time. Like it's definitely John Wick-ish, but in all the good ways. It is really good. He's great. So yeah, if you just need a good, fun action movie with a ton of great fight scenes, like we were talking about Midnight Fight Express earlier, yeah, Nobody, fantastic movie.
Okay.
I know my suggestion is going to be like super, like you really suggested that, but seeing how I got really excited for seeing Korra in the footage of the Nintendo All Stars, go play Legend of Korra. It's like maybe $6 in the Xbox or PlayStation store. It's not that bad. When I bought it, when it came out, it's $15. It's probably the best $15 I spent at the time. I promise you, it's not as bad as it may seem or look. Go spend the money. It's probably Barry. Don't give me that face. Go check out Legend of Korra.
Don't forget.
I don't know. I don't know if it's even still up in the current stores. But Legend of
Baron,
Korra. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
he don't want to buy Legend of Korra, but he played Rage 2 and he bought Rage 2.
Sorry, man.
It's okay, Baron.
That did happen. That did happen. Yes, it happened. It happened.
I remember
It really
it.
did. Listen, and thank you, Demi. I love Korra, but it's so mid. Why did I say thank you first? I
Baron,
should have read the comment first.
Because you old.
I should have read the comment first, and then I should like, oh, okay. Wow. Thank you so much. Yes, I will be trying Psychonauts 2. I feel so bad that I haven't played it again, Ryan. It's because I'm being forced to play Remnant. And I'm enjoying myself, but I'm being forced to play Remnant. But it is pre-installed. And by the way, for those who are loving to pre-install stuff, Halo Infinite is available now for pre-install if you have Xbox Game Pass, which everyone should have Xbox Game Pass at this point. Go and install Halo Infinite. We still have 3 months to release, but hey, depending on how your internet is, on whatever part of the world you may be in, you may have slow internet, so you might want to go ahead and get it out the way. And if you're cool like Baron was able to get an expansion card for dirt cheap, you have the space to put it on your Xbox. Listen, Ryan, I said it during podcast unlocked, and I'm gonna say it again. Like, being able to speak with you in this interaction is like a dream come true. You're someone that I've been following for a long time, and to be able to just sit and speak with someone that I've truly respect and have always wanted to be able to have these conversations with you, it is a wonderful feeling. I do appreciate you coming on and rocking with us today.
You guys are all very kind. Appreciate the invite. Thanks for coming on Unlocked. You'll come back, I'm sure. And it's fun to hang out with you guys and not have to host a show for once. I can just sit here and just talk when called upon. It's great.
It's a beautiful thing. You know, being on Unlocked, it did so much for us here at Level One, because since then I haven't had to do anything with the show. Like, my hands are up. Floor Hugger actually controls everything. She does the transitions into gameplay in and out. I was like, oh, that was so nice, and to not to be able to have to do all of this. Like, I'm trying to listen to the guests. I'm trying to get everything shared. So, like, you continue to motivate me to want to grow our platform here at Level One. And like I said on the Black Men of the Game Industry, myself, Lil Cognito, Neo Game Spark, we truly want to give you your flowers, because we do recognize what you're doing long past movements, long past certain things happening. You are continuing to share your platform, and that's something that we don't see a lot of. And from the bottom of my heart, man, it's really appreciated. And again, I use the phrase a lot, but I just want to give you your flowers. We really appreciate that.
It's just a matter. It's just trying to normalize it and not have it be a thing that's anything but expected, because that's all it should be. It should just be a normal thing.
We definitely appreciate. Listen, we hate to go, but we don't like to hold you guys too long. This is actually longer than what we normally do, but we had a special guest on, so we went a little bit longer tonight, and it was great. Everything you guys need in the description is down below, so it makes you guys go and check it out. We do have our Extra Life stream coming up
November 6th.
November 6th, so make sure you guys check that out. I will be, thanks to Jeff Grubb, I will be playing Sekiro. I will embarrass myself for multiple hours on stream, and I'm okay with that, because he did raise some money for some children, and that's what it's all about. So make sure you guys check that out. Listen, we're going to end the stream. I'm gonna probably take 5 minutes of Ryan's time to pick his brain, because that's what I do. But with all that said, congratulations, you guys leveled up to 170. This was the Double XP podcast. Don't forget, tomorrow is Take Two. Friday is Peep Game. Saturday is Ready Press Play. Sunday is Starcross Gamers. Monday, 15 Minutes of Fame, and I promise I will be unmuted this time. Tuesday, Ready Press Movies, as we prepare for the return of Cogs in the Machine. And next Wednesday, we will have Mr. Badbit on as our guest, and make sure you guys come out and rock with us. It's been great. It's been amazing. A wrap. Peace.
Bye.